This video can be utilized with the study guide for the Unit 6 test that will be Friday, February the 7th in first and fourth block. So, number 1, it says the hypotenuse of a right triangle has a length of 101 millimeters. So first of all, we have to draw a right triangle. Okay, the hypotenuse has 101, a measure of 101, and its length of one of its legs is 20 millimeters. And it wants to know what the length of the other leg is. We can let the other leg be A or B. I'm going to let it be B. And all we're doing is solving for the length of the other leg. The Pythagorean theorem says A squared plus B squared equals C squared. So we're going to do just that. 20 squared plus B squared equals C squared. Now remember that C is always a hypotenuse, always across from the right angle. So 101 is C, and our legs are A and B. So in our calculator, we're going to take 101 squared, and that gives us maybe 101 squared gives us 10201. B squared we do not know, and then I believe 20 squared gives us 400. Yes. So we write that into our equation. Now the next thing we need to do is to get B by itself. The first step in doing so is to subtract 400 from both sides. Class, what's 400 minus 400? 0. Very good. So we're left with B squared is equal to 10201 minus 400. That gives us 9801. Now I have B squared is equal to 9801. The way we undo a square is to take the square root. The golden rule of algebra says what we do to one side of an equation, we do to the other. When we take the square root of B squared, that leaves us with B. And when we take the square root of 9801, that leaves us with 99. So the answer for number 1 is D, 99. Let's move right along to number 2. It says, which of the following numbers would make this a Pythagorean triple? So we use A, B, and C. A is 88. I told you I wanted a highlighter. Hold on a second. What's going on? See if we can get rid of that red mark. A is 88, B is 105, and C is unknown. So we're going to do just like before. A squared plus B squared equals C squared. A is 88, B is 105, and C is unknown. I'm going to move this because you can barely see those numbers. So in our calculator, we're going to go ahead and take 88 squared plus 105 squared. That gives us this big old number, 18769 is equal to C squared. Just like before, we take the square root of both sides. The square root of C squared is C, and the square root of 18769 is 137. So 137 is answer choice A. Okay, let's move on to number 3. It says, again, we're dealing with the same type of question, which of the following would make this a Pythagorean triple? This time they give us A and they give us C. We know that A squared plus B squared is C squared. A is 20. We're looking for B, and C is 29. So let's go ahead and find out what 20 squared and 29 squared is. 20 squared is 400, and 29 squared is 841. So we subtract 400 from both sides. 400 minus 400 is 0. 841 minus 400 is 441. Every time we get down to b squared, we have to take the square root of both sides. The square root of something squared is just itself. So we're going to take the square root of 441, and that gives us 21. The square root of 441 is 21. So the answer to number 3 is C, 21. Number 4 is a little different. For number 4, you first have to draw a picture. So let's get a little bit more room here. It says that a tree house is 14 feet up in a tree. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a tree, and then I'm going to draw a tree house. Okay? Tree house. Okay. So the tree house is 14 feet up in the tree. Okay. Then it says that you have a ladder that's leaning up against the tree. Okay, so our ladder is leaning this way, and it is 18 feet long. And it wants to know how far from the base of the tree is the bottom of the ladder. So it wants to know what this distance is. We're going to call it x. So I'm not sure whether or not everybody can see this, but there's a triangle right here that is made by the tree, the ladder, and the base. It is a right triangle. It has a height of 14 feet and a hypotenuse that's across from the right angle of 18 feet, and it wants us to find the other missing leg. So we say a squared plus b squared equals c squared. A is missing, B is 14, and C is 18. In our calculators, we're going to do 18 squared and 14 squared. 18 squared gives us 324, and 14 squared gives us 196. Next, we have to, I'm going to do this so we can see our work a little bit better. Next, we have to subtract 196 from both sides. 196 minus 196 is 0. We're left with a squared equals 324 minus 196 is 128. We're left with a squared. What do we have to do to get it to be by itself? Yeah. Square root. So we take the square root of both sides. The square root of a squared is a. And the square root of 128 is, hold on a second, I put an extra negative in there. The square root of 128 is 11.3137. Now, I'm not sure how much work I needed to show, so I'm going to bring back, or how many decimal places I needed to show, rather. So I'm going to bring back the problem itself, and it just has one decimal place. So if I have 11.31, that is answer choice. I'll move this over. 11.31 is answer choice D. 11.3 feet is the one that is closest. In number 5, we also use the Pythagorean theorem. a squared plus b squared equals c squared. C is the longest measure, the one across from the hypotenuse. It's 41. B is 9. And A is our unknown measure. A squared plus 9 squared is, we all should know that, 81. And then we'll have to do 41 squared in the calculator. We get 1681. We subtract 81 from both sides. A squared equals 1600. We're down to a squared. We take the square root of both sides. The square root of 1600, I believe, is 40. But let's check just to make sure. It is. It's 40. So our answer choice is B, 40 meters. We'll continue going over the study guide on Thursday. We're going to benchmark Tuesday and Wednesday, and I will post the rest of the study guide review on Thursday.